Shelby County Health Department.
The Earl Farrell Show, weekday afternoons at 3 on KWAM, now on FM 107.9 and AM 990. Here's Business Spotlight from your local voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990. And here's your host, George Bryant.
Good morning. Good morning. It is Tuesday morning in the Mid-South. A little bit rainy, but the forecast looks like it's going to get dry in a few days. So I know it's soaked out there, but a great day today. Let me tell everybody a little bit about the Business Spotlight. It is a time that we get to turn our spotlight on some of our local business partners here in the Mid-South. Tuesdays, we turn our spotlight on Triumph Bank. And in the studio is our host, Tracy Strickland, Senior VP for Marketing at Triumph Bank. Welcome to our studios.
Thanks, George. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's not raining. It's cloudy, so I'm going to be the optimistic one that I didn't have to walk my dog in the rain, and I didn't have to put my rain boots on, so it's fine. Maybe it'll dry out a little bit.
Yeah, it looked like it wasn't going to stop yesterday. I kept thinking it was going to move through. Todd said it was.
Oh, my gosh, this time of year. But that whole rain, April showers brings May flowers, and our flowers have been so pretty, so I'm going to focus on the positive things, and I have the perfect guest this morning that's going to help me focus on the positive things. I have hinted around to this friend and coworker for a couple of years to join me, and she keeps, oh my gosh, I'll do it sometime. And so finally I was very lucky to get my guest here this morning. I have Lillian Rucker. She is our Senior VP and our Banking Center Manager. We work in the same office on Ridgeway Center Parkway. Lillian was our 5th employee at Triumph.
I was.
And she said that just because she waited a little bit, you were almost number 4, and you let somebody sneak in. So she joined the bank even before we opened our doors 12 years ago, and has been just instrumental in the growth and the formation of the culture that we talk about every week at Triumph, and a focus on creating an extraordinary experience. So, number one, welcome.
Thank you, Tracy. I'm very glad to be here this morning, George.
Yeah,
nice
great
to see you.
Yeah, good seeing you again.
Yes.
Reminded that we met a few years ago in Collierville when we were doing a spotlight.
How could I forget that face?
All right. She's getting points.
Well, Lil grew up in Murfreesboro in Nashville, but she's called Memphis home for a long time. She's a proud Memphis Tiger. She came to go to Memphis State, right?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I will always call it Memphis State, and I've tried and tried, but it's true to my blood.
I know. Well, she bleeds Tiger blue. She bleeds a little Triumph green as well, but she's truly a Tiger through and through. But she is another, like we had Steve Mitchner on last week, who is a lifelong banker. Lil has been a lifelong banker for her career, and you can tell in the way that she talks to her customers. They aren't just another account or another loan. Lil knows everything about her customers and really focuses on building relationships. And we've always talked about how we've grown our business so much by helping businesses, but Lil has absolutely focused her business on helping the personal banking customer. And I would love for you to just spend a couple of minutes, Lil, on talking about why you've chosen to focus on the personal side of banking versus the commercial side.
Well, I started my career out as a teller,
right,
which I think is probably one of the most important positions you can have in a bank, because that is the one place where you are every day that you're interacting with the customer that walks in the door.
Right.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
You get to know them,
you get to talk to them,
their family, their children. You can learn so much in the communication process. And through that, I grew through my career. We work very closely with the commercial side of the bank, and it's there that you learn that these commercial lenders, which is such a very important position, go out and help the person run their business. But at the end of the day, who is taking care of the wife and the children?
Right.
And I learned real quickly, if you make mama happy, everybody's happy. And so that is where I set my emphasis on, and that's where I find my niche, is working on the consumer side which helps both sides of the bank.
Absolutely. And I know when you talked about, when you do go with our commercial bankers to talk with those business owners, it could be, men or women clearly, but it's not only getting to know them and their own personal side of their banking and how you can help their family, but you also work with their employees.
Their employees,
right?
Yes. You go out, you make a call, and you tell them not only what you can do for them personally, but what you can do for their employees. And that way, it makes it a center banking.
That's right.
There at the business.
That's right. You've done, obviously, everything. I mean, you've run a couple of our branch offices, and now you're settling in. And I think, at this point in your career, you really get to focus on one particular specialty. Obviously, you will be there to answer any questions, but you really have been honing your practice on HELOCs.
Yes.
Recently. You want to tell us a little bit, just give us kind of a 101 on a HELOC, what it stands for, what it is.
The slang HELOC stands for a home equity line of credit.
Right.
And basically what it does is allows a person to borrow against the equity in their home. We go up to an 89% loan to value, which allows the client to always maintain 11% ownership in their home. So it's not like they can say, I don't own anything. That they still have that ownership percentage.
Right.
And it's a great product to use for so many different diversified reasons. And it's just become a great product, and it does very well out in the marketplace.
Well, and it can be used different ways, right? So, I mean, you
Yes.
said it could obviously be attached to an existing mortgage, or if somebody has their mortgage paid off, they can just have...
It can be in first or second
Right.
position.
Right. Which is great. So it gives you ultimate flexibility. in that as
Definitely,
well. So,
definitely.
Well, before we get into the nuts and bolts, you want to tell everybody how they can reach you and if they're interested in these products?
My direct number at Triumph Bank is 901-333-8812, and that's my direct number. Probably the easiest way to get in touch with me is through email, and it's very simple. It's Lillian at triumphbank.com, and either one of those avenues would come directly to me.
Perfect.
We're talking with Lillian Rucker. She's the Senior VP of Banking, the Banking Center Manager over at Triumph Bank, and we are in the middle of Let's Talk Growth with Triumph Bank, and Tracy Strickland, your host. We'll be right back when we take a quick break. You're listening to The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990. Now, here's Mid-South weather from News Channel 3's Severe Weather Center. Brought to you by the Crescent Club, hosting the people and ideas that moved Memphis forward for nearly 30 years. Poplar and I-240. Call for a free tour at 901-684-1010.
Patchy fog this morning, giving way to mostly cloudy skies this afternoon. High temperatures climbing into the upper 60s, light winds out of the north. Mostly cloudy with some gradual clearing overnight, low 50s by daybreak. And under mostly sunny skies, clouds will return late Wednesday afternoon with a chance of rain by tomorrow night. Come see ESP Insurance, your local Safeco Insurance representatives for home, auto, and business insurance. Call 901-272-2244. I'm News Channel 3's Todd Demers on The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
And now back to Business Spotlight on The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Welcome back to our studios. Let's Talk Growth with Triumph Bank is this morning's Spotlight, and Tracy Strickland is our host. We've also got a special guest in the studio today, Lillian Rucker. She's a Senior VP and Banking Center Manager over at Triumph Bank. Let me tell you real quick about Triumph Bank. Local community bank doing a fabulous job in our community, not only offering state-of-the-art service to our customers for both commercial and then also for the average banker, a person like myself that wants a checking account. They do a fabulous job with that. They are really community involved, and I'm so proud of that. Triumph Bank, a number to call is 901-333-8800. TriumphBank.com is their website. Great website, a lot of good information. Talk about all the products and state-of-the-art stuff they're doing. And the thing that we love about this particular segment is you get to learn a little bit more about the inside of a company, a bank, the banking business, and some of the features that they're offering, but also a little bit about the personality of the people that are behind all that. And, so we've got Lillian here and Tracy Strickland to talk a little bit more about what Lillian does.
Yes. Well, I know we introduced the fact that Lillian works so much with their customers on getting HELOCs, but I think I see Lillian running around our office putting loans together 90 to nothing this time of year, specifically in the springtime. But obviously you can have a HELOC any time of year. But who do you feel like is your ideal client? Like who's obviously coming to you for HELOCs? What are the different reasons why somebody would even want to apply?
Oh, Tracy, everyone is a candidate for a HELOC.
Okay.
I tell you, one of the biggest reasons we do home equity lines is for the person that wants to do a rehab or wants to do some home improvement to their houses. It's a great avenue to do that sort of thing. Another big one is this time of year has been very popular. We've got several people that have come in panicking on how do I pay for my daughter's wedding. I have met many a client over my lifetime which has come to ease knowing that we can get that dream for the wife taken care of. Usually it's the husband that just says, oh, goodness. But
won't they just elope? Yes.
Yes, and I'll tell you another important way to do a home equity line of credit is, for, of course, any unexpected personal use that comes around. But also, we partner with our mortgage department, our Triumph Bank mortgage department. You will have a client that will come in wanting to purchase a new home. The mortgage department will do a first mortgage for 80%. The bank side will come in and do a home equity line for the other 9%. And believe it or not, that type of partnering will allow that customer to not have to pay the PMI insurance on their first mortgage. And it actually ends up saving them quite a large amount of money.
Oh, wow.
And there is actually 2 loans, but it is such a great way to get a homeowner into a new home with not as much out of their pocket.
And I would assume, since you work in the same office as the mortgage lenders, that it's a completely streamlined process.
Very
streamlined. You're meeting with them the same time the mortgage lender's meeting with them, so they're taking care of that whole process.
You give your financial information to that mortgage lender, who then, with their permission, shares it with me, and we have a dual closing at the same time, and it is the easiest process to go through. And there's lots of other reasons. Another big one right now is in the summertime we are very, very busy with people that have got tuition coming up. Children are going to college, don't have a way to fund that, and the home equity line, which is such a long-term product, not only covers child number 1, but is there for child number 2 and 3, and very, very profitable.
Right. And tell us about the term of the HELOC and how that...
The way Triumph Bank structures our program is it's a 10-year draw period. So you have this home equity line that's for a certain credit limit. For 10 years, you can draw up and down on it. If you pay it down to 0, don't close it. It's just there for an emergency use for you to not have to come in and apply for another loan, and therefore till the term is up. At the end of 10 years, if you do have a balance, you can carry that over into a 15-year payout. So it's very easy if you're left with a small balance and you don't have the funds to just pay it down to 0. You can go in and do a term out, or you can start back at square one and say, I like that draw period. I'd like to have that back again. And we just refinance it back to the first 10-year period.
That makes it easy.
Very easy.
I guess if you're building a new home and you've got a current home, you work off of that equity.
You can get a home equity loan off your current home. Use that as a down payment on the existing, on the one that you're constructing.
Right. So what if you...
Multiple uses.
Exactly. It's so flexible, and I love that. I mean, you don't have to just do it for home improvement, and I think that's what so many people have in their mind since it's tied to their mortgage. But talk to us about the process. If somebody comes in, calls you for the very first time, and they've got a mortgage, tell us how you take care of them?
I love to communicate with my customer. We talk about the product in general. You know, you've got many people that already are aware of it or had one and want to move it over. And then you've got those that have never even heard of a home equity. Someone has mentioned it to them, and they're calling in for information. So you go over the product and what we have to offer first. From that process, I just email them an application with an email about what I need back from them as far as finances and what we need to evaluate that loan. Sure. The one positive about Triumph Bank that I take great pride in is that we actually do our own underwriting. We're not sending it off to another city or a centralized lending area that's located in another community. We do it all ourselves.
So you're talking to that customer, you're finding out all their information,
Yes.
You're writing up the loan, and you're doing the underwriting. So everybody who's listening, know that Lillian is your one-stop shop for
It
this
is a
whole
one-stop shop, yes.
process.
And then once I do my due diligence and we write it up and get it approved, and we do order an appraisal and get title work. And anything with real estate I like to put out there is not the fastest moving process, but we do go as fast as we can, and it usually we take less than 30 days is what we strive for, and we can do some emergency situations.
Right.
But and then we set it up for closing, so it's a very painless process.
I know we were talking about this the other day. It said, Tracy, a HELOC is a way to make a liability an asset, right?
Yes. The way I look at it, I've done this for so many years. You're going to owe the funds anyway. We try to encourage people not to take their money out of an investment. You know, there's a feeling of security, knowing that your money is still there, out there.
Yes.
And so with the home equity loan, whatever interest you're paying back on that product, we now call it like a tax advantage because you can write that off on your taxes. So you're making a liability now an asset.
Love it.
We're talking with Lillian Rucker. She's the Senior VP and Banking Center Manager over at Triumph Bank. Tracy Strickland is our host, and we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk a little bit more about the great things going on at Triumph Bank. You're listening to The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Credible, reliable, always unbiased. The Daily News. TÜV Printing, doing business as 670 South Cooper Street, LLC, has signed a lease in Southeast Memphis to house its warehouse and distribution operations. Until recently, TÜV Printing operated out of a location at 670 South Cooper in Midtown, but that site was sold to Lehman Roberts Company for $2.3 million in January. Methodist North Hospital is operating a new limb preservation center within its wound healing center to reduce the number of amputations being performed each year. Peripheral artery disease, diabetic foot ulcers, and diabetes-related wound infections contribute to a higher rate of amputations in Shelby County than the national average. The Riverfront Development Corp. has changed its name to the Memphis River Parks Partnership to reflect its larger role. Carol Coletta, new president of the organization, says the new name reflects broader responsibilities in working with private and public entities in developing the city's riverfront. For more on these stories, pick up a print edition of the Daily News or go to memphisdailynews.com.
And now back to Business Spotlight on The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Welcome back to our studios. Today, let's talk growth with Triumph Bank. Our host, Tracy Strickland, and her special guest, Lillian Rucker. She is a Senior VP and Banking Center Manager, has been over at Triumph Bank for quite a few years and have got some great stories, and we're going to be trying to get those out of her real quick here in a minute. Some great banking stories, but also customer service stories. I want to let our listeners know real quick, though, that Triumph Bank is really very convenient all over the city. We've got 4 locations for you, popular at I-240, Germantown, Collierville, and Arlington. And then also, boy, you can just stay at home and bank with them because they've got some state-of-the-art online banking options for you. Triumph Bank, 901-333-8800. And if you hit the right day, if you want to come into the bank, they usually are serving ice cream or some of those special days.
We're going to be serving Mem Pops next week, and we have a family day at Binghamton Christian Academy. We can't wait.
Always a lot of fun going on. It's really a great spirit and culture, as we talk about, that goes on at Triumph Bank. And so now let's get Lillian to tell some of her fun stories.
You know, having time with Lillian, and now that we share the same office space, it's been truly a pleasure. Because I've been at Triumph for 4.5 years, and we've never worked in the same office. And I knew Lillian before I got to Triumph, and she comes with quite a reputation, and that's a reputation of love and care, and a heart of gold. And I just don't know anybody who's more passionate about their customers than Lillian, and building these relationships. And through these years, I think we always try to talk about how we've helped our customer have a triumph. And I'd love for you to share maybe one particular time or a couple of times, whatever you feel like, that, you feel like you've been able to make a difference for a customer, that they were in a pinch. And
oh, yes. We have so many of my stories, Tracy, you could not get out of me with the pulling my blood out.
I know.
So please know to my my clients that you are safe with me. Over the years, I can just remember a couple different times where two couples came in, separate occasions, and a daughter was getting married, and I'll tell you, literally panicking. And we did go as fast as we can. We did make them a home equity loan. The daughter was like, I want this, I want that, and the mother is going to make it happen, and the dad is about to faint.
Yes.
So my point is, those were great success stories. I think everybody was happy at the end of the process, and the weddings came off without a hitch.
I bet there are a lot of our listeners out there going, "Oh, I need her. What's her number?"
I know, exactly.
Oh, let me tell you. And then
it's easy to get caught into that, and then you've got all the drama of, "Oh, this is going to be the best."
And I think one of the other stories that kind of got to my heart was many years ago. I had a young gentleman that thought he was getting a scholarship, and for whatever reason, it was lost at the last minute. And dead set on going to a certain university, and they came in and begged, what can our options be, and we ended up doing the home equity loan, and he got in. He eventually got his scholarship back, but I think the reason is because we got him in the school, we made it happen, and everybody ended up having a wonderful life after that. And it not that I did anything, but the product is what made his dream come true. And that's where I think Triumph sits down and listens to the client and says, all right, what product can I try to match with them and their situation?
What's best for the client at all
And
times.
that's where we went and made it happen.
And you have just every day you've got a new success story, and that's what I love about the things that you just get really, really passionate about. I just got to ask you a question, Lil. So you were employee number 5 at Triumph. How crazy were you to just leave your successful banking career and go with a startup? What was it like 12 years ago to do that?
One day I get a phone call out of the blue from the two gentlemen that helped me with my career, and that's Will Chase and Mike McCarver. And so I do contribute everything.
Are you looking for a bank where you're
two gentlemen? It was very difficult at the time to take a leap of faith on something, to start a new bank. And they encouraged me and said, Lil, yes, you can do this. There were many, many nights we worked late. My best friend at the time was what I called a flip chart. And I must have gone through so many flip charts just knocking down ideas.
Right.
And you get a good group of people together in a core, and you all talk all day long. And, the day the door opened, I cannot explain to anyone except those who have walked in my shoes what that feeling is like.
I bet it was full pride. It's like birthing a baby.
Well, George, I'll say
Maybe
yes and
not
no.
Yes.
But you did it together. This is everybody had their part to play, and you all depended on each other. And it's finding the group that know they can depend on someone to do their part of the job. And those two gentlemen chose the right people to get it started.
Right.
And
Well,
we've done well.
Yes, you have, and it's the culture and it's everything. You talked about the right people at the start, but it's built the culture. Because all the new people I know, Tracy, you bring in, I mean, just really all...
Culture is everything at Triumph.
Because they're great people, and you go in and walk in, you can feel the atmosphere.
Well,
and it's welcoming.
Exactly.
The one thing I just want to end with is at Triumph, the good thing about a community bank is we don't work just for the people. Mm-hmm. We work with them.
Yeah, that's correct. Well
and
said.
That's always going to be our motto.
Lillian, you're wonderful sharing all that with us today. Lillian Rucker, she's a Senior VP and Banking Center Manager over Triumph Bank. What is your direct line again, Lillian?
901-333-8812.
8812. Tracy, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you, George.
Thanks,
Thank you so
Tracy.
much, Lil.
We'll see you back next Tuesday at 7:30. You're listening to The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.